on my
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Theo Hickmat here. Friends call me Jason Zelda, singer-songwriter, Bible teacher, and author of the interactive ebook that used to be called The Whistleblower's Lighthouse. But I've made a lot of changes to it, updated it, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Also, I hope you guys will stick with me. Later in the video, I'm going to be doing my first ever unboxing. This was sent to me by a fourth generation ex-Jehovah's Witness. 4 generations that cult kept her family trapped in the cult. But this lady was able to decipher the code, break out of the cult, and now that she's out, she is living her best life, writing books, making crafts. I want to introduce you to this lady, and maybe it might be something you might be interested in as well. Some of the stuff that she makes. She makes some really cool things. So we're going to deal with that a little bit later. But right now, let's deal with the subject matter at hand, and that is part 2 of the Watchtower in bed with Babylon the Great. Now, for those who didn't catch part 1, what was part 1 about? In part 1, I dealt with the issue that the Jehovah's Witness leaders have told their members for decades that all the other religions are of the devil. Satanic, evil, Satan's organization. They're so bad, in fact, that Jehovah is going to destroy them all in what they call Armageddon. Now, when they say destroy the religions, they actually mean they're going to kill off all the members. And when all the members of all the other religions have been wiped out, then the entire earth will be run by the Jehovah's Witnesses, and their leaders will rule the world. That's the basic crux of their Armageddon teaching. The leadership of their group are so proud, they actually want to rule the world. And they'll say, well, we'll rule the world with Jesus. He doesn't need your help. Neither does he want it. But that's the gist of their Armageddon teaching. Their members are not even allowed to attend any religious establishment, whether it's a church, synagogue, temple, or mosque. If any member of their group is found going to any of these other religious establishments, they will be harshly punished within the group. Shunned, kicked out, what they call disfellowshipped or removed. Their group is going through all kinds of changes right now due to lawsuits and things. They're changing terminologies and expressions and all that jazz. We'll deal with all that later. But after taking such a hard line against all these other religions, it became a surprise to a lot of people when I came out with my last video, Watchtower in Bed with Babylon Part 1. In that video, I dealt with websites, news websites from countries where English is not the first language. This is very important. I'm dealing with information coming from countries where English is not the first language. So when you go onto their websites, it's not going to be in English. It's going to be in a different language. You'll have to have it translated into English to find out what's going on. And what I've begun to find is the leadership of the Jehovah's Witnesses have sent their representatives to participate in what is called the interreligious dialogue. Now, what is the interreligious dialogue? The interreligious dialogue, when I was growing up, and I'm 55 years old now, but when I was growing up, it was called the ecumenical movement. And the ecumenical movement was the Catholic Church's attempt to take as many religions as they could and to get them to come together, to sit down together, to discuss things together, to try to set aside their differences and ultimately to unify into one big universal world religion. Now this ecumenical movement has been around for so long, it is now branching out further to try to bring in even more religions. They started off by trying to bring in fundamental Christian denominations, and they did quite a wrecking ball on a lot of the Christian denominations. Because when I was young, when somebody quoted the Bible, you know what you heard? These, thous, and ye's. They were quoting this King James Bible. And wasn't nobody back then saying, I can't understand them these thousand years, man. We need a modern translation that speaks like I speak. No. Nobody was asking for a dumbed down Bible. Why not raise your intellect to the level of the Scripture rather than lowering the Scripture to the level of our intellect? But nonetheless, when the Catholic Church pushed this ecumenical movement and began infiltrating these denominations through their leaders, they began one after another making these changes. And one of the main changes that they did is a majority of these denominations set aside the King James Bible and began instead bringing in these so-called modern translations, which are translated from Catholic manuscripts. Now, what they're doing now, though, is they're branching out to some of the other religions and bringing them in these countries where English is not the first language. Therefore, the majority of the people who speak English are not going to know about it. Even if they did know about it, they'd have to go doing like I'm doing, researching in languages they don't understand, and then having to have it translated, and then trying to sift through everything to find out if there's anything there. And this is what we're finding out now. It appears the Watchtower organization has its hands in this interreligious dialogue, as according to the news articles from these countries where English is not the first language. And I'll have the links provided down below in the description section for these things that I'm reading from and more. This one here, dated September 3rd, 2025, says worship will hold a meeting of non-Catholic churches and an interreligious dialogue table in the province. Interreligious dialogue table. In this paragraph here that I have highlighted, it says this: it will be a plural space where evangelical churches, Adventists, Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, and also the Catholic Church will be present. We want to dialogue about the social and spiritual reality of the province, share diagnosis, and project lines of joint work, said Pereira. The lady who's in charge of this branch of the interreligious dialogue is Monica Pereira. You're going to hear her name pop up quite a bit. So they're mentioning here in this news article, it said the Secretary of State for Worship of Santa Cruz. Now, this is not Santa Cruz, California. This is Santa Cruz, Argentina. Very important. This is not happening in the English-speaking countries right now. This is happening in Spanish-speaking countries for the most part. It says here, the Secretary of State for Worship of Santa Cruz will hold this Thursday, September 4th, a meeting in the auditorium of the Christian Missionary Movement Church of Rio Gallegos in order to formalize adherence to National Decree number 486-2025. And they deal with what that is here, where they're wanting the government and these religions to start working together. Then they mention here some of the religions that were involved: the Adventists, the Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, Catholics, and Evangelicals, for this particular one, September 3rd, 2025. Now remember, Jehovah's Witnesses are told these other religions are of the devil, satanic, evil, going to be destroyed by Jehovah. This news article here says Jehovah's Witnesses have joined forces with these religions down in Argentina to work alongside them and the government to do things jointly. That's not all. We have this one here, again from Santa Cruz. We'll put it up on the screen. The second interreligious dialogue table was held at the Government House. It says, this morning, the second interreligious dialogue roundtable, organized by the Provincial Secretariat of Worship, was held at the Gregorius Hall of the Government House. The meeting was chaired by the head of department, Monica Pereira. So there's her name again. You're going to hear a lot from her. And included the participation of representatives from various religious communities of Rio Gallegos. Look at what it says here. Members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, the Baha'i community, the Catholic Church, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, that's the Mormons, the Argentine Pentecostal Methodist Church, Open Heaven, The Universal Church, that's the Moonies, and Jehovah's Witnesses, among others, participated. So we have a second source here. This one is dated October 7, 2025. This one that I read earlier was September 3rd, 2025. Now look at what it says here. It's going to get very interesting. During the meeting, various topics related to planning joint activities for the Christmas holidays were discussed. The last sentence says, and one of the proposals was precisely to work on something together to close out the year. So the Seventh-day Adventists, the Baha'i, the Catholics, the Mormons, the Pentecostals, the Moonies, and the Jehovah's Witnesses were going to work together in Argentina to do something for Christmas. Now, Jehovah's Witnesses are told by their leaders they can't celebrate holidays. But if you are a member of this interreligious dialogue and you are a Jehovah's Witness representative, the rules don't apply to you. Just do it in another country where the English-speaking people, who the majority of Jehovah's Witnesses are, will never find out about it. I told you guys in the last video, be on the lookout to see what the leadership of the Jehovah's Witnesses does around Christmas time. Jehovah's Witness members do not need another publication to tell them they can't celebrate Christmas. They already know. Jehovah's Witnesses do not need another talk or speech to tell them they can't celebrate Christmas. They already know. They don't need another video to tell them they're not allowed to celebrate Christmas. They already know. But I said be on the lookout to see if the Jehovah's Witness leaders do anything. They shouldn't have to do anything. Their members already know they can't celebrate Christmas. But I said, watch. They're most likely going to do something, and they're going to say, you see, the outside world, they participate in Christmas, but Jehovah's Witnesses, we don't. Well, what ended up happening? The next gathering of the interreligious dialogue was scheduled for 2 months after the last one, which would have been September, around September. That would have made it late November, early December. Right around that time, just like clockwork, the Watchtower organization releases a video. On what? What is the origin of Christmas? This video explores how non-Christian customs and pagan festivals have shaped Christmas traditions and explain why many people choose not to celebrate. No, why Jehovah's Witnesses choose not to celebrate. The many people do celebrate. The majority of the world celebrates it. Jehovah's Witnesses don't. But you see how they frame it. They're trying to say, oh, well, we're not the only ones who don't. You're the only ones making a big fuss about it. Was Jesus born December 25th? You know what I say? People say, nowhere in the Bible does it say he was born December 25th. Guess what? Nowhere in the Bible did it say he wasn't. Oh, but you don't understand, Jason. They said that the shepherds were out in the fields with their sheep, and they wouldn't be doing that in the middle of the winter. It is December 2025. And outside right now in Tennessee, it is 70 plus degrees. We got a heat wave in the middle of the winter. Might that have happened over there? They didn't need a long period to have him in the manger. Because the next scene that we have, he's in the house. Could it have been that they had a bit of a warm spell? And then the cold weather came? Like we're having now in Tennessee? Why do people make it so hard? Maybe he was born December 25th. And it just happened to coincide with these other things. But you know what my King James Bible says? In the book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 16. Let's put it on the screen. Let no man therefore judge you in meat, or in drink, or in respect of a holy day. Holy day, that's where we get our word holiday from. Holy day, holiday. Let no man therefore judge you in meat, or in drink, or in respect of a holy day, or of the new moon, or of the Sabbath day. My King James Bible clearly says you're not to judge somebody based upon whether they do or don't celebrate holy days or holidays. Jehovah's Witnesses claim their religion teachings are Bible-based. No, they're not. They're Watchtower based. And if they knew their literature, they would know that. Because they have a question from readers section in this Watchtower right here, in which they are asked a question directly. Do Jehovah's Witnesses get their teachings from the New World Translation? Meaning that they get their teachings from their Bible? And the answer from their leaders is no. They said since the 1800s, Jehovah's Witnesses have had the Watchtower to give them their doctrines and teachings. So they're telling you right there, their teachings don't come from the Bible. Their teachings come from the Watchtower. And when they wrote their Bible in 1950, they wrote it so that it would match what they've been writing in the Watchtower. That's why they changed the verses. The Bible's never been their source of authority, even though they tell their members that it is. In Christianity, when we have a question, people say search the scriptures to see what it says. In Jehovah's Witnesses, when they have a question about things, they say search the Watchtower Index. What did the Watchtower say? It's not Christianity. So what we have here is we have the leadership of the Jehovah's Witnesses coming out with a video telling people in English Christmas is pagan, Jehovah's Witnesses don't practice it because it's pagan, and blah, 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 blah. And then over here in Argentina, where English is not the first language, they're setting up a huge to-do, along with the Mormons and the Adventists and all these other groups. So what did they do? Christmas is past now. The event has happened. What did they do? Remember Monica Pereira? I told you you're going to be hearing her name a lot in this video. She's going to tell you what they plan to do, and in the background, they're going to show you what they did. She's going to mention to you some familiar names and things that take place during Christmas, and understand that when she says the interreligious dialogue, she's talking about Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, Adventists, the Catholics, and all these groups who joined together and jointly agreed to do this together. If you're going to be part of the interreligious dialogue, which the Watchtower could have said, no, we don't want to be part of that. But they didn't. They joined. And as a member of it, they have to work in unison with the other religions. They can't be like, you guys can celebrate Christmas, but we're Jehovah's Witnesses. We don't celebrate Christmas. No. If you're part of this, for the group that's down there, they have to participate in order to show unity. That's what the whole bottom line is. They want to try to show unity between these religions. So the Jehovah's Witnesses participating with this interreligious dialogue help to put together what Monica Pereira is about to tell you happened. Take a look at this.
We are working from the Secretary of Worship on a table called the Interreligious Dialogue Table. And at that dialogue table, one of the conversations we had was how we can achieve unity among the different religious denominations. Because it was getting so close to Christmas, we thought this would be a wonderful opportunity for all religious denominations to come together and find common ground. So we thought about opening the doors of the government house to allow people to come in and see this space that we have prepared to evoke Christmas. We are bringing a Santa Claus to visit us. There will be a Grinch. And what we want to emphasize is the Christmas nativity scene, in other words. We want to try to make the new generations understand the importance of the nativity scene in Christmas and not so much Santa Claus. So we are going to do it through a story, a kind of history that will be told and that the children will see. Then they will have the opportunity to enter the space we have set up. Santa Claus will leave letters for Santa Claus in the mailbox, and he will give them some candy, and they will be able to take pictures. Well, what we really want is to inspire this Christmas spirit. We started on the first day of the month. The Advent calendar was also created by the Department of Worship and through the government website. The inclusion of that Advent calendar made it possible for various religious denominations to offer their perspectives on what Christmas represents and its importance within the family context. So we started with that on December 1st. Today we continue with this, which we are going to do as a small dramatization to teach the children the importance of Christmas and how our hearts should be at Christmas. Pulcam, what we do have aside from this for the 20th and then 21st, which are Saturday and Sunday of December, we are going to hold the Entrepreneurs Viver, the Christmas fair for entrepreneurs that will be held at the Cultural Center. There, everyone can sign up for whatever they want, yes, with Christmas themes, everything they offer. Even the churches, these churches are giving workshops which were also promoted, or they are giving workshops, for example, on how to make sweet bread, how to make Christmas meals, in other words, giving ideas for families to make on Christmas Day. Then they are also taught how to make Christmas decorations. All of that was done by the Catholic Church through the different religious entities that exist in the neighborhoods. Yes, that's on the one hand. And we also organize so that they can sell what they learn in those workshops on the day of the Christmas fair, which will be held on December 20th.
Let's go ahead and jump into this a little bit further. So they had their Christmas get-together on December 20th, as you heard Monica say. But the members of the group who speak English were left in the dark about it. They weren't told about this. And what other things were happening down there? Part of the problem that I'm having is not only am I looking at websites where English is not the first language, but a lot of the information about this interreligious dialogue is not being made public yet. I cannot get a full list of all the religions that are involved. I cannot get a list at all of the representatives who are involved. You'll hear the names of the government officials, like Monica Pereira, but the actual names of the representatives from the Mormons and the Adventists and the Jehovah's Witnesses, their names appear to be top secret. I can't find nothing. I can't find anything. This might be my last video dealing with this topic because I don't want to overdo it, oversaturate it, but I feel people have a right to know. If you're going to be a Jehovah's Witness and you're going to believe that the leadership of your group hears from God, speaks for God, is God's organization on the earth and all this nonsense, you have a right to know the other side, that they're telling you one thing and they tell the outside world something else. They tell you they're God's only channel on the earth, and that the Australian Royal Commission on Institutional Child Abuse, under oath, Jeffrey Jackson, governing body member, said when he was asked directly, is the governing body Jehovah's channel on the earth, his response was,
and do you see yourselves as Jehovah God's spokespeople on earth?
That, I think, would seem to be quite presumptuous to say that we are the only spokesperson that God is using. The scriptures clearly show that someone can act in harmony with God's Spirit in giving comfort and help in the congregations.
But the members are never told that. When it comes to blood transfusions, what happens? You were told if you need a blood transfusion as Jehovah's Witness, you better hope you survive the surgery without blood. You better hope you don't die. And that elder in your congregation has a secret handbook that he is told by the governing body he is not even allowed to show his wife, called Shepherd the Flock of God. At least that's the name they have on it now. In that book, they have a section on blood transfusions. And the elder is told, and the one that I had here, the question is something like, what if a Jehovah's Witness willfully gets a blood transfusion? What's the penalty? If the Jehovah's Witness member is repentant afterward, the elder is told to make an announcement that this person is being counseled, and this person who got the blood transfusion is considered weak, and they won't be allowed to have any kind of special privileges within the hall for a period of time. No disfellowshipping, no removing, no shunning, nothing. And you don't die. But if you're never told that you have the option of taking a blood transfusion, you will nervously go into that operating room hoping, praying that I don't die. Because the truth was held from you. If you've got a loved one in the Jehovah's Witnesses who died refusing a blood transfusion, the leadership of your group put together a book called Shepherd the Flock of God, which your elder knows exists. It's for his eyes only according to the leadership, and he has on purpose hid that information from you, from your family, that they could have taken the blood transfusion and all they had to do was be repentant afterward, and there would have been no lasting penalty, and that family member would still be alive. But that evil elder, with his wicked heart, wanting to keep his position of power, when he heard that somebody needed a blood transfusion, raced down there to the hospital and did all that he could to make sure that that Jehovah's Witness did not get a blood transfusion, even though he knew that his booklet says there was no lasting penalty if they did. I'm giving you examples of where the leadership of your group says one thing to you and something else to outsiders. Let me give you another one. How many of you remember Johannes Grieber? I got some new news about Grieber. For those of you who know and those of you who don't, let me fill you in. Johannes Grieber was a Catholic priest who wrote this book here. Communication with the Spirit World of God, Its Laws and Purpose. Personal Experiences of a Catholic Priest by Johannes Grieber. In this book, and you see it's a very thick book, it's his own story. He was invited to what was called a prayer meeting, and when he went there, he found out the prayer meeting was a code word for seance. He'd never been to a seance before, so he decided to stick around and find out what was going to happen. A young girl got possessed of a devil and began speaking. And the information that was coming out of that girl's mouth, this Grieber knew it wasn't that little girl. There was no way she could have known about these things that happened in the past. There's no way she could have known about these advanced things. There had to be something speaking through her. So he came back to more and more and more and more of these seances, to the point that he decided he was going to leave the Catholic Church and become a spirit medium full time. He wanted these spirits to use him the way that they used that little girl. So he turned himself over to those spirits, those devils. Those devils wanted a Bible. They wanted a book they could call a Bible that read kind of like the Bible, but it had their spin on it. So Grieber put together this for them. The Grieber Bible, right here. Johannes Grieber, there he is. The Grieber Bible. I want you to see what he says here. Page 15. I myself was a Catholic priest, and until I was 48 years old, had never so much as believed in the possibility of communicating with the world of God's spirits. The day came, however, when I involuntarily took my first step towards such communication and experienced things that shook me to the depths of my soul. After I'd taken the first step, I could not stop. I had to go forward. I must have enlightenment. He says here, my experiences are related in the book that appeared in German and English that bears the title Communication with the Spirit World of God, Its Laws and Its Purposes, written right here in his Bible, tying the two books together. Look at what it says here, last highlighted section. In rare instances, which texts pronounce correct by the divine spirits, that's what he called the devils that was using him, the divine spirits. In the rare instances which a text pronounced correct by the divine spirits can be found in none of the manuscripts available today, I have used the text as it was given to me by those spirits. He's saying there are things written in his demonic, satanic Bible translation that are found in no manuscripts. He wrote them as the devils that had possessed him told him to write. Did the devils tell him to write? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was a God? Because that's what it says in here. Now watch this. They used Grieber in 1950. They warned their members that Grieber was a spirit medium, that he had a close rapport to spiritism. Avoid the writings of Johannes Grieber. So the members of the group followed in lockstep. The leader says, don't read Grieber. We won't read Grieber. We don't need Grieber. Okay. For the next 20 years, the leadership of their group then used Grieber's demonic Bible to support the Jehovah's Witness Bible, because they could not find a Christian to support Jehovah's Witnesses' anti-Christian teachings. What anti-Christian teachings do they have? Well, pretty much every teaching that we Christians have, they teach the opposite. We teach Jesus is God, they say he's not God. We teach Jesus died on the cross, they used to teach he died on the cross, then their leaders changed their mind and decided that they're going to say that he hung with both hands over top of his head like this. They call it a torture state. We teach there's a literal burning fiery hell. They say hell is just a grave. We teach that God represents himself to mankind as Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. They say the doctrine of the Trinity is the doctrine of the devil. We teach that your sins are forgiven by the grace of God. You cannot earn it by doing good works or religious activity. They say the only way to satisfy their God is by doing religious works for their organization. We teach that your sins are forgiven by the grace of God. Their organization knows nothing about the grace of God. Because it's all about do what you're told by the leadership or die at Armageddon. That's what it comes down to in their religion. We teach you can pick up a King James Bible, read it, and understand it on your own. They have multiple publications where they told their members that no matter how much Bible reading they do, they will never understand the Bible. They are told that they need Jehovah's Witness publications in order to help them understand the Bible. Their religion teaches the opposite of fundamental Christianity. And since they could not find a Christian to support their anti-Christian teachings, they resorted to going to a spirit medium, but they had to first distract their members from him by telling them in the 1950s, yeah, he's a spirit medium. You don't want to read his literature. You don't want to know nothing about his stuff. No, just stick with us. We'll take care of you, brothers. And for the next 20 years, they used Grieber as a source to support their anti-Christian Bible translation. Now watch this. Hat tip to the legendary Christiane. Christiane, if you're out there watching this, I need you to contact me and give me a call. I got some stuff I need to talk to you about. Looking forward to hearing from you. You're awesome. I'm here for you if you need me, okay? I'm here for you. Christiane put out a video in which she showed in the 1980s, the leadership of the Jehovah's Witnesses came out with an article in which they gaslit their members. They said in their article, why is it that we don't use Grieber? It's there on your screen. They've been using Grieber for the last 20 years at that time. But the article says, why is it that we don't use Grieber? And they try to imply to us who speak English, they're not going to use Grieber. They don't have to use Grieber. Their religion is sound as far as they're concerned. They don't have to have a spirit medium to support their views. I mean, come on. What are you talking about, Jason? We don't need a spirit medium to back up our teachings. It'll stand on its own. But in that very same Watchtower magazine in Spanish, that section on Grieber is not there. So in English, they said they were not going to use Grieber. In Spanish, they didn't say they were not going to use Grieber. So Christiane showed that in their book, Aid to Bible Understanding, in Spanish, they're quoting Grieber again. In English, they said not going to use them, but they never told the Spanish people they're not going to use them, so they're still using them over here in Spanish. In English, they say, he's got a close report of Spiritism. We want nothing to do with Spiritism. Over here, they didn't mention that to them, so they're still using Grieber over here in Spanish. But guess what, guys? Yeah, for those of us who speak English, you're dealing with a cult here when you're dealing with Jehovah's Witnesses, and you can never trust what the leadership says. Because guess what, boys? That's right. Grieber's back. Yeah. That's right. Grieber is back. Can you believe it? December 2025, Johannes Grieber has returned to support the Watchtower Bible. After they said 40 years ago they were not going to use him anymore, Grieber and his demonic Bible has returned in English. Where is it? On their website. And I took screen captures just in case somebody gives them a heads up that this video's out here and they digitally remove it like they do so much other stuff. Like their shunning videos. When the courts began to get on their case about their shunning policies, overnight, those shunning videos just disappeared off their website. Well, just gone. They still teach the policy, they just removed the videos so that people on the outside don't know how evil, demonic, satanic that policy is. Because if it was righteous and if it was Christian Jehovah's Witness leaders, why didn't you leave it up? If it's so godly, why take it down? If it's the Christian loving thing to do, as you tell your members, why did you remove the videos? Because down inside you know it's wrong. Just like the elders who race to the hospital to try to make sure that Jehovah's Witness doesn't get a blood transfusion when he knows there's no lasting penalty if they get one. The leadership is doing the same thing. Now watch this, folks. He's back. On the Jehovah's Witness website, homepage, search bar, type in Grieber, G-R-E-B-E-R. Hit search. You'll see, it'll say Grieber Johannes. Click it. This pops up. His name gets bigger. So he's associated with 1, 2, 3, 4. He's associated with 4 links. It says here, Grieber Johannes, New Testament by, and then it says, close rapport to Spiritism. Now, when you highlight that, this is what pops up. Remember I told you they came up with an article saying, why is it that we don't use Grieber? Well, here it is. So you see, I'm not making it up. They're saying here, why in recent years has the Watchtower not made use of the translation by former Catholic priest Grieber? And they go into how the guy has a close rapport to Spiritism. He's a spirit medium. His wife's a spirit medium. They spell all this out on their webpage. 2025. Now watch. The next one they have under his name is John 1:1. So they're tying him to John 1:1. And when you put your cursor over it, it brings you to the New World Translation, the Jehovah's Witness Bible, where it says the Word was a God. They're connecting it with Grieber. And if you don't think that's what's going on, right next to it, it says W62554. When you highlight that one, you get this. They're quoting from a booklet called The Word, Who Is He According to John. Most Jehovah's Witnesses have never had a paper-bound version of the actual book. It's not easy to come by. But here it is right here. It's not that big. It came out in 1962, I do believe. Yeah, 1962. Most Jehovah's Witnesses have never seen the paper-bound version. 1962 is right after they came out with like the full edition of their Bible version. And their scholars came out and says, how in the world are you translating the Bible like this? How in the world are you getting the word was a God? So they came out with this booklet. And in this booklet is what they're quoting here on their 2025-2026 webpage. They're quoting this book here, The Word, Who Is He According to John. Now, look at what it says here. But most controversial of all the following readings of John 1:1-2, the Word was in the beginning, the Word was with God, and the Word was a God. This Word was in the beginning with God. This reading is found in the New Testament and Improved Version published in London, England in 1808. And you see a little footnote marker, a little plus sign, little footnote marker. When you click that, it lets you know that they are not quoting from a Christian Bible. They're quoting from a Unitarian Bible. Unitarians do not believe Jesus is God. So why would they write a Bible that has him as God? Yet they're going to quote a Unitarian Bible as if it's an authority on Christianity. But look at what comes next. It says similar is a reading by a former Catholic priest. A former Catholic priest. Who are they quoting from here? A former Catholic priest. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was a God. Now, what you will see here, when you get to the bottom, you're going to see another footnote marker after the word. It says, into existence, John 1, chapter 1, verse 1 through 3. There's a little tiny, teeny-weensy triangle right after that. Might be a little hard to see, but there's a little triangle there. When you highlight that, this pops up. The footnote. What did the footnote say? They're quoting from the New Testament, a new translation and explanation based upon the oldest manuscripts by Johannes Grieber, a translation from German into English. Edition 1937, the front cover of this bound translation is stamped with a golden cross. So they say here, they are quoting from the New Testament, a new translation and explanation based upon the oldest manuscripts by Johannes Grieber. A translation from German into English, edition 1937, the front cover of this bound translation being stamped with a golden cross. Now I want to show you something. This here is the actual page, right from the Jehovah's Witnesses website, December 2025, right there. They're quoting from Grieber's Bible. After they said on the previous page on their website, they're not going to be using Grieber anymore because he has a close rapport to Spiritism. So are they really quoting from this satanic book put together by Grieber? Are they really quoting from this? Or is it a different book? Let's take a look. They said here, it is called the New Testament, a new translation and explanations based upon the oldest manuscripts. So let's open it up to the title page. There's the title page here. The New Testament, a new translation and explanations based upon the oldest manuscripts by Johannes Grieber. They said it was the 1937 edition. Flip it over. Right there. 1937. Not sure if it's going to focus, but it says there 1937 by Johannes Grieber. And it also says it has a golden cross on the cover. Now you say, wait a minute, Jason, yours has a white cross. No, mine has a jacket. And theirs didn't have a jacket. When you take the jacket off, there's your golden cross. They went through the process of describing this satanic Bible in such detail that you cannot mistake it, which means they must have had a copy. This came out in 1937. The Jehovah Witness Bible didn't come out till the 1950s. And the Jehovah Witness Bible is not an original translation. The Jehovah Witness Bible is a revision of this. Okay, so I hope this has been very beneficial to inform you guys, but we're not done. No, my brothers, no. We are not done. Thank you, my friend Laura, XJW, Sunshine Laura, for the pen that was sent to me for Christmas last year, or a couple of years ago. Still got it. Rose gold. I love rose gold. Thanks for the pen. I appreciate that. We're going to do an unboxing here of this that was sent to me by a 4th generation ex-Jehovah's Witness. Her name is Romy Maple. Romy Maple. Very fun lady. Very happy lady, it appears these days. Recently just wrote a book. You can ask her about it. I've had the opportunity to go through her book, read it, or put it in audio form and listen to it in actuality, and to review it for her. And I told her, 99% of the book is really good. For those of you out there who've come out of the cult and you've gone through trauma in the cult, she did too. A woman who, when she was a child, had things happen to her unspeakable. And when she tried to tell them what was going on, they wouldn't believe her. I'll leave her to tell you in her book what happened. But now she's a grown woman. And over the years, she has learned ways of mentally coming to terms with this trauma. And I told her 99% of the book is really good. There's a couple of things she said in the book that kind of threw me. But you have to understand how to deal with these things. She mentioned something about a goddess at one time talking about stones. And there's another piece where she sounded like she was talking a little new agey. And I mentioned that to her. But by talking with her, I believe that she was not trying to come across teaching New Age teachings or anything like that. She's just trying to convey what happened to her. And the solutions that she found. This smells good, by the way. I just untaped it, and I can smell the aroma coming up from this. So I'm looking forward to opening this up and find out what it is. Now, this book, again, ask her about it. You can get more information about it. But she's also very good at making crafts. So before I open this, I want to introduce you to her so you can know who she is. So ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce you to an XJW whistleblower, Romy Maple.
Is everybody excited for the holidays? I don't know about you, but it's kind of a Grinchy kind of holiday feeling for me. I don't know why. I feel Grinchy. So guess what? I made Grinch earrings. You want to see them? Let me turn the cat, or let me show you. I'll take them off here. They're adorable. Okay, I don't know if you can see them. Are they adorable? Hold on, let me get the other ones. Like I said, I only have 6 pairs left. So these they have 3 different stones. So what I have left is, you see the little green on there? That's actually tourmaline. And then of course my little backs are sterling silver, because I like to make everything with quality. So they kind of clasp like that on your ear so you won't lose them. They're super, super light. Like I said, I have 6 pairs left. They're $38. Whoops, I lost one. They're $38. I made a whole bunch for the show. And I thought, well, I better jump on here and see if anybody's interested, and I'm going to have to hold them till next year. But let me show you again. You see them? Aren't they cute? I love them, but they're not heavy. They're really light. So if you want to do like a little cute present for somebody, these are adorable. So anyways, I'm going to sign off for tonight, you guys. I need to get myself out of here. And if you want a pair of Grinch ear, oh, I have a bracelet. Forgot to show you. I have 1 bracelet left. These are $48. And that is the rubies. The rubies in this is adorable, and they're super lightweight. It's adorable. I love this, and it's on a little stretchy. So anyways, I'll take care of the shipping. Just reach out to me, PM me. You guys all have a wonderful night. I'll talk to you soon. Mwah.
So there you go. I love those Grinch earrings, though. They look so cool. And ladies, I want you to understand, you don't have to just wait for Christmas time to wear Grinch earrings, okay? You wear Grinch earrings in the spring or the summer or the fall, everybody's going to know you know exactly what's up. It'll be so cool. Go ahead and get yourself some of those Grinch earrings. I think you'll love them. Okay, let's open the box and see what Romy has sent here. Let's see. I'm going to have to raise it up so you guys can see because the camera is too high. So let me bring it up here. Let's see what we got here. See, it's got a nice packaging here. I'm going to lift the packaging. Let's get down to it. Oh, what's this? Hang on a second. I need 2 hands for this. Oh, ladies, you're going to love this. I think you're going to love this. Look at this. Oh, she put some candy in here. Oh, you teasing. Why you going to tease me? Why you going to tease me with candy? You. Bless you. Ladies, man, this smells good. Please be patient with me, guys. This is really nice. Look at this. Ladies, I'm going to have to edit because it's taking me so long to open this thing up. But look at this. This is candles. Look at this. Is that amazing or what? Candles made out of seashells and shark's teeth. That's a shark's tooth right there. And it looks like a flower. She designed them to look like flowers. Look at that. Is that amazing, ladies? Look at this. You know you want one, don't you? Yeah, you want one. Look at this. That is really great. What else is in the box? That is really cool. Ooh. Again, we have this one here. It's in a nice package here. Let's slide it open. Let's bring it out. Please don't drop it. Please. It is in there really good. There we go. Ladies, look at this. Is that pretty or what? Seaside at Christmas. Look at that. Is that pretty? That's amazing. These are gifts you can give to people all year round. Candles never get old. Never get old. And here's another one here, different color. Different color. We'll slide her open. We'll bring it out. This one came out much easier than the last one. And here we have another one, and this one has even got the shrink wrap on it. How about those biscuits? How about that? It says gingerbread. Really nice. Thank you, Romy. I really appreciate this. Now, here's something I want to do for you guys. Thank you for sticking with me this long. Don't go anywhere. There's more in here. Oh, wait a minute. What? Opening this package will cause extreme happiness. Let's see. Oh, snap. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. This is a surprise. I didn't know she was going to send the actual book. There it is. I Am Romy, The Love Stories Effect. Healing Our Hearts and Souls After Childhood Trauma. I've had the opportunity to review this, and I think this book will be very helpful to a lot of people, to help you if you've been through trauma. Use discernment when you're reading it. This is her story, and you can get this, and I'll put the information also down in the description section. I will put the information on your screen as well. Romy doesn't know I'm doing this, by the way. I wish you and your boyfriend the best, and this is my Christmas gift to you, to share with the world your talent. You were able to escape the cult. You've done something that millions of people around the world has not been able to do. You escaped the cult. Now you get rewarded. The Love Stories Effect, the book. Thank you, Romy. The candles, made with her own hands. Smells great. And this one here. All be available on her website. Again, it'll be in the description section. Romy's, ROMYS, candlesandco.com. These are beautiful. Love these. All right, folks. Thank you. Oh, before I forget, I'm promoting Romy. I forgot to mention my own book. My interactive ebook used to be called The Whistleblower's Lighthouse. It is now called Hidden from Jehovah's Witnesses. I went from page 1 to the last page and redid the whole book. All the images that used to be blurry are now clear. There's a ton more information that I've added to the book. I made the font smaller. I'm not sure if this will work in a PDF reader. I'm going to be honest with you. I got images on there of Watchtower publications that you can show to Jehovah's Witnesses to try to help wake them up. I'm not sure if a PDF reader will work with it. But you'll find when you go to my website, jasonzelda.xyz, the book is no longer called The Whistleblower's Lighthouse. It's got a new cover. Pretty much the entire book has been redone. But it's done for the purpose of helping you reach your friends and family and get them out of the cult. A lot of information and documentation is there. Table of contents covering a whole bunch of topics that will help you reach Jehovah's Witnesses. In later videos, I may deal more with the book, the things that are in it that helps you get people out of the cult. Now, for those of you who've already purchased my interactive ebook, you do not have to purchase it a second time. Check your email for an email that arrived. It should have been on December 27th. If there's any that arrived before that, just discard them. The December 27th one should be the one that has the working bookmarks in it and the updated bookmarks. That's the one you want to get. So check your email. You should have an updated copy for free in your email box if you've already purchased my interactive ebook in the past. And give me one last thing. I promised a friend of mine I would do this, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to give away one of these candles to one of you who are watching the video. And what I'd like for you to do, I got a friend of mine who recently started making YouTube videos playing video games. And he is struggling getting subscribers. You don't necessarily have to watch his videos or anything, But if you could do me a favor and just go to his YouTube page and hit the subscribe button. He said he's about 500 subscribers short of his goal. So if you could go hit his subscribe button. And if you want to watch a couple of minutes of some of his video game streams, feel free. It would only help him. And when you do that, just come back and put a smiley face or a I did it, or say something in the comments section to let me know that you are one of those who subscribed. And in the future, I'm going to go through the list of those who said that they were one who subscribed to him. And I'm going to choose a name. And you'll get a candle sent from me. And I might even add a few extra things, like maybe a copy of my new album, Blur the Lines. It'll be a special treat for you. I'm going to put his YouTube page up on the screen. Okay, be careful how you spell it, because he doesn't spell it like it normally would sound. He spells it BUTTA-MILK-BISCUITS gaming. It's all one word. BUTTA Milk Biscuits Gaming on YouTube. And his profile picture on YouTube is going to be a plate full of buttermilk biscuits. That way you'll know it's the right guy. Just go ahead over there, hit the subscribe button, and then leave me a comment, let me know that you did it. And I'll add you to the list of people who I can choose from. And I'll just randomly choose somebody to get a candle. Just sharing the joy, because I think Romy did an incredible job with these things. And I just wanted to share it with you. Alright folks, you have dealt with me long enough. I hope I've informed you. I hope I've entertained you. I hope that we'll meet again down the road. Check out my music site, jasonzelda.com or jasonzelda.bandcamp.com. Check out my new album, Blur the Lines, where I bring in AI to sing my female lead vocals while I write the lyrics and do all the production work, and I add my own background vocals and background music, and it's just an incredible album. I really enjoy the work that was done on Blur the Lines. jasonzelda.bandcamp.com. And the music is available for any price you want to pay. My ebook is available also for any price you want to pay over $3, because they charge me every time somebody buys a book. So any price you want to pay over $3, you can get my new interactive ebook, Hidden from Jehovah's Witnesses. jasonzelda.xyz. For Romy's Candles, you can get those at romyscandlesandco.com, romyscandlesandco.com. For her book, I Am Romy, The Love Stories Effect, you'll find that on Amazon.com. I have supplied QR codes right here on the screen if you want to get there quickly. Thank you, Romy. I really appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you and your man. And until next we meet, folks, may the grace of my God, Jesus, be with you. I'm Jason Zelda, and I'll see you guys down the road. Night, everybody.